Hi guys. In this video I thought I'd talk to you about something I think is really important, and it's something that a lot of people know, but I just wanted to cover it, to go over some of the things that crosses my mind regarding this topic, and that is camping solo, camping all by yourself. And I wanted to talk about the dangers in camping by yourself, and this applies to all forms of camping. It doesn't matter if you're camping in a vehicle, a hammock, a tent, maybe you're sleeping right on the ground. The type of camping isn't that important. It's the fact that you're camping alone by yourself with no one else around. There's a lot of things to take into consideration when camping by yourself. And I wanted to discuss the type of things that go through my mind when I camp alone, because all of us are different. Everybody has different fears. Everybody has different things that they think about. When someone camps alone, especially once it starts to get dark, they naturally start to acquire fears of the forest. You know, what's out there in the dark. And once night falls and the woods are pitch black, they worry about wild animals, you know, bear, wolves if you got them in your area, mountain lions, stuff like that. Dangerous predatory animals that can do harm or kill a person. Just this month, on September 17th, 2020, a man that was 43 years old was camping alone by himself in a tent in the Smoky Mountains. And hikers came across his campsite, and a bear was eating on him. He was being eaten by a black bear. He was already dead, and the bear was feeding on his body. The hikers took off out of the area and called rangers, and when the rangers showed up to the campsite, this specific campsite, the bear was still there feeding on the man, and they shot and killed the bear. They were going to do an autopsy on the man to find out the cause of death, if the bear in fact killed him, or if he had a health problem that caused him to die in the woods, and then the bear just stumbled across his body and started feeding on him. They really don't know the cause of death, but a bear was eating him as he was found camping alone. The very same campsite this man was found on with the bear eating him, another father and son was camping together, and they were attacked by a bear. The son was attacked first and pulled from his hammock by the black bear. And had the father not been there to save the boy's life, the boy most likely would have been killed and eaten by the black bear. Very same campsite, same exact camping area. So that's why it pays to camp with other people. So if you're planning any type of camping trip, just remember the dangers that I told you in this video. But my largest concern about camping alone isn't so much the dangers that are in the woods, and it's not just wild animals. There's many other dangers in the woods than just wild animals that could bring harm or kill you. For me, it's something going wrong with my health, because personally for me, I've had a lot of scary things happen to me that had I been camping alone when it happened, I'd be in dire straits. I'd be in serious, serious trouble. Just to give you one example of many that I could tell you about, is one evening when I was home eating dinner, I just sat down to eat my supper and just getting ready to eat my first fork bite of food, and I suddenly could not breathe. I suddenly had severe pain that went all the way through my upper right chest, all the way through to my shoulder blade in the back. And it got worse by the second. Just worse and worse and worse, to the point where I felt like I was being crushed underneath something. It got so bad, long story short, that I had to call 911, and I waited for the ambulance to come to my house, and they transported me to the hospital. And upon doing tests, they discovered that my lung had collapsed and that I was going to be transported immediately to another hospital and put in ICU. All within just, 2 hours. I went from sitting down at my dinner at home to ending up in ICU in another state. I live in Western New York. I ended up in northwestern Pennsylvania in ICU. Had I been camping when that happened, being somewhere out really remote, far away from home, more than an hour's drive, to get way out to the most remote place that I can go to with a vehicle, I'd have been in serious trouble. It would have taken forever for an ambulance to get there, let alone find me exactly where I was at. So those are the things that concern me the most as a solo camper, because though I do camp solo, I know how dangerous it is. Because if you look here behind me, I'll just tip you back. I am sitting on the very tree, the other part of the tree to that. This tree snapped off and fell down. I'll show you guys the whole thing here in a second. If you were in a tent where this thing snapped off and landed, you're dead. There's no surviving that at all. Well, Kev, what does that have to do with camping alone? Well, if you've got other people that camp with you, friends, family, maybe some other people that are in an outing, and maybe all of you are strangers, but you're all camping together and making friends and stuff like that. As long as you've got other people with you, there's always somebody to try to save your life. There's always somebody to call for help. There's always somebody to go out of the woods to seek help if there's no signal. When you're by yourself, if anything happens to you, anything at all, whether it was done by a wild animal, a sudden illness, a sudden health problem like a heart attack or a stroke, or you just passed out for some unknown reason, when you got other people around, they can get you help right away. But on your own, you're on your own. And these are pretty much the same dangers that applied to the previous video I did about hiking alone. Everybody knows, anybody that is into hiking or knows anything about hiking has always known that it's always been said, never hike alone. Neither man or woman, don't hike alone. It's not safe, and it's not safe. I agree with that statement. It's not safe to hike alone, and it surely is not safe to camp alone. Something could happen to where you can't make it out of the woods and you're on your own. If you've got other people around to help you, it ups your chances of making it out alive and making it out to where you could survive and live to see another trip. But when you're on your own, if anything goes wrong, it comes down to just your ability, your know-how, your will, and what to do. As time is the essence, you have to know what to do. I could wander off to get firewood and get bit by a snake, and now time is of the essence. I could fall and injure myself and break a limb, to the point to where maybe I can't drive myself from where I'm camping. If I'm car camping and I'm on a site and there's a picnic table and a camp ring, a fire ring, and everything's there, including my vehicle, and I just think, well, if something happens to me, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to just jump in my vehicle and go, and I'll go get help. But what if you break your leg that you drive with, your right leg, and all you got is your left leg? How easy is it going to be to drive with only one leg? It's going to be extremely difficult to gas and brake with your left leg. But for me, personally speaking, it's my health that I worry about. Because the way things can suddenly happen, I would not want to be alone out in the middle of the woods somewhere far away from home and have a medical emergency. That would be a nightmare. I worry more about that than dangerous people, bears, poisonous snakes, accidents to myself, a tree falling. There's so many dangers, but health problems that could leave you incapacitated to where you can't get help for yourself. If you don't have someone with you, your chance of survival dramatically decreases. You could be pinned. Say a tree did fall and you couldn't get out of the way in time, and now you're pinned beneath one of its limbs. Maybe the main tree didn't fall on you and kill you, but you're pinned in such a way that you cannot free yourself. Think of the hell that would be if you were out camping by yourself, nobody else around, nobody knows what just happened to you, and now you're stuck there for God knows how long. That's why you always let someone know where you're going, where you're going to be, and when you plan to return. How much time do you plan on being at that location? And if you tell someone that, don't change your plans, because if you do, make sure you get a hold of that person via a cell phone and tell them your change of plans. Always make sure someone knows where you are at all times. This is the tree that snapped off and fell. And there's the rest of it right there. If you had a tent set up anywhere down in there, See the whole tree moving way down there? You have a tree that big fall on you, not only would it kill you, but if you were out from where the main trunk landed and you were pinned beneath the branches, you're pretty much screwed. There's a lot of fallen trees in here. Big ones. So these are just some things to think about, you guys. It's what I think about. It's a big risk, but I do it because I don't have people to go camping with me all the time. So I hope this helps you guys. Food for thought. Thanks for watching. I'll have some more videos coming. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.